I'm one of those guys who has an interest in a great many things, classic cars among the top. But I'm also interested in cooking. Yes, cooking. A lot of guys these days get enjoyment out of this. Not that I'm all that great a chef or anything. It's just fun to get into the kitchen and try out something different every day. At one time, I used to travel frequently to the UK, where I developed a keen taste for Cornish pasties. But the ones I found here at local butcher shops don't quite measure up. So I decided to try making them on my own. Please remember, this is a first-time endeavor. I've never made these before. This video is for all wannabe cooks out there. If you're interested, give it a try. It all starts out with flour. The more all-purpose flour you use, the more pasties you can make. The recipe suggested a half cup for 2 pasties, but I soon discovered the pasties would have to be mighty small. I suggest using 1.5 cups of flour for 2 larger pasties. Next, you put the flour into a large mixing bowl along with a healthy amount of butter, salt, and add water to the mixture a tablespoon at a time so you don't turn them into a paste. You could use the pulse button on your blender, but how much fun is that? It's better to work the dough with your hands until it takes on a breadcrumb appearance. Then form the dough into a nicely packed round ball and place it in a bowl. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for about 25 minutes to cool. When using a larger amount of flour, I'd suggest dividing the dough into 2 separate balls. While the dough is cooling, dice up about 1/2 cup of carrots, 1/2 cup of potatoes, 1/2 cup of diced onion, and 1/2 cup of turnip. Try finding a smaller turnip or rutabaga at the grocer's. Don't make the vegetable pieces too large, perhaps 1/4 inch square. You may also wish to use a small amount of thyme. I used lean Angus beef in my pasties, but I'd suggest using something with a little more fat content so the beef isn't too dry. Parboil the vegetables for a few minutes and brown the beef in a skillet. Try not to completely cook the beef or the vegetables. They'll finish cooking in the oven. Next, preset your oven, setting the temperature at 425 Fahrenheit. At this point, the dough should be just about ready to remove from the fridge. Spread a good amount of flour around on your kitchen counter so nothing sticks, and using a rolling pin rubbed well with flour, flatten the dough as if you're making a pie. When you've finished rolling it out, the dough should be a little thicker than a soda cracker. Once you've flattened the dough, use an 8-inch salad plate as a guide to cut out a perfectly round shape. Remove the excess dough, and now you have a round piece of dough resembling a tortilla. Gently lift the dough from the counter and add a bit more flour underneath and then set it down again. Now comes the fun part. Drain the parboiled vegetables and place them on the dough just as if you're making a taco. Add the browned meat, a few sprinkles of thyme, plenty of salt and ground pepper, and a couple of small pats of butter. That will help turn everything into a bit of a gravy. Then crack open an egg into a small bowl and beat it well. Using a brush, paint the edges of the dough with egg. This will become your glue to hold the dough together. Lift the sides and ends of the dough around the filling and crimp with your fingers to hold the pastry together. Using your brush, paint the outside of the pasties with egg. This will make them a golden brown color in the oven. Then place them on a well-greased pan and put them on the center rack of your preheated oven for 45 minutes. Check on them regularly to make sure there's no burning. When they're done, remove them from the oven and let them stand for about 5 minutes to cool slightly before eating. These are really good. Here's what they're supposed to look like fresh from the oven. My first attempt at making Cornish pasties didn't turn out all that great. First attempts seldom do. But the flavor was still there. These require no steak sauce and are great with fresh corn on the cob and a couple of cherry tomatoes for color. If you got all messed up the first time like I did, you'll be much better prepared the second time around, and then you'll really know how to do them right. I hope you enjoy these. Cornish pasties. Oh, they're so good.